Welcome to the Red Shirt Podcast with your hosts, Vernon and Nigel. The Red Shirt Podcast, by Reds, for Reds.
Hello and welcome to this week's Red Shirt Podcast with Vernon and Nigel. And this week, we're just going to be talking about Saturday's game against Newcastle and the return of the prodigal son. So, Nigel, how are you doing?
What kind of question is that, my brother? I am doing A-OK. The Ronaldo's back, the team is back, the mentality is back. I'm a very happy man. How you doing, bro?
I'm fantastic. And because of such an occasion, well, Nigel, we've got a stellar lineup, haven't we?
Look at
we've
this.
got Tyrell, we've got Annie.
We got the Fred hater, yeah.
Yeah.
You better not bring the mood down today. I'm in a good mood today.
I'll tell you what, Nigel. Tyrell's starting to look a bit like Fred, isn't he? I'm getting
It
a bit worried.
does look like him, doesn't it?
So we've got Errol and we've got Anif. So, guys, without further ado, I want to take us back to Saturday's game. It was Newcastle. It was one of the most excitable fixtures in the last 20 years. I've never known so much excitement and energy coming towards a 3 o'clock kickoff on a Saturday. But obviously, Ronaldo had returned. So I'm going to start with Tyrell. You haven't been on for a while, Tyrell. So I'm going to start with you. You went to the game, didn't you?
Yeah, I was there. Hottest ticket in town.
Did you try not to sell it, Tyrell?
Yo, I see some of the crazy prices going around. I'm not gonna lie, if someone had offered me $2.5 grand for my ticket, they could have took it there and then. I would have seen Ronaldo next game.
I mean, it was a pretty. I mean, if anybody that wasn't in and around Old Trafford on Saturday, I don't think they could understand the magnitude of the energy and the buzz that was in the actual area, from like the toll gate, to obviously the pubs around the ground, to the ground on Chester Road, Talbot Road, the trams coming in. There was a buzz, wasn't there?
There was just so much energy, and this was all like 2 to 3 hours building up to the game. Like you said, I've never seen anything like it for a 3 o'clock kickoff against Newcastle. The energy that was coming in, it was amazing. It was amazing. I was glad I got to be a part of it, really, because it was one of the best games I've ever been to, just for atmosphere alone.
Exactly. So coming to you now, Anif, because you actually still reside in Old Trafford. What was the noise levels? Because I mean, I was speaking to people that lived in Gorse Hill and that they could hear the noise levels.
I'm about half a mile away, and I could hear the noise through this window behind me. You know what I mean? Just that little crack in the window. It was like madness, clear. You know what I mean? And the singing was going for it proper. Never heard anything like it, to be honest. Never heard anything like it ever. So, I'm a backyard man, and wireless and all kind of dodgy links to listen to the game, and it was just like ridiculous. So I can't imagine what it'd be like on roads. And Park Life was on as well. You know what I mean?
Park Life was on, because I must admit, when I was going past the Trafford Hall Hotel, going to the game, there was some sort of like...
You got distracted. Man got distracted.
When his head turned.
Put it this way, you know what I mean? There was obviously, festival wearing clothes. You know what I mean? That's all I'm going to say. It leaves a lot to be desired. But Errol, you went to the game as well, didn't you, on Saturday? I remember you ringing me up at 8:30 in the morning.
Wow.
With the excitement that you got a ticket, hadn't you, Errol?
Yeah, I have to give a shout out to a good friend. I went with Tina O'Neill and her dad. Quick story, a friend was supposed to be coming from Canada, and he messaged at 3 a.m. in the morning saying he wasn't coming. So I basically got up about 8:30, saying, "You fancy going to the game today?" There's a bear living in the woods, as we say. I was gone. I was like, right, I was planning my date, right, what I'm going to wear, shave, you know, I
Yeah.
was just panicking. But I tell you what, and I've worked at United and I've been to many games like we all have, and that was electric. I was actually by the tunnel, and the quadrant there seems like that's the singing section. And I sent you the video, and all you could hear was the Ronaldo song. It was goose pimples and hairs on your neck time. It was just unbelievable, and the noise levels. And then when I come out in the tunnel at the end, it was still carrying on. It was just something different. You know, we've had great nights. You know, we've had semi-finals of Champions Leagues, and we've had derbies and Liverpool games, but that was just, it shows you the love and respect that the fans still have for the man.
I think it's funny, Nigel, because I mean, I'm going to come to you now. It was an amazing day, wasn't it? Just in, I mean, obviously the part of Old Trafford, Furswood that you live in, you must have felt the buzz and the anticipation, you know?
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, obviously, it was building from obviously 10 days before. And obviously, when we unveiled Varane, I mean, that was quite a colossal day. And then I remember the noise then. And that was like almost, you know, unsurpassed. And then, of course, we then get the news that Ronaldo's coming home. And just from the moment we prized them away from City, up until this point, it's just been building and building and building. And it almost it was almost like religious fever, wasn't it? You know, this guy coming in and he literally stopped the whole of the red half of Manchester, and everybody, like Tyrone said, it became the hottest ticket in town, and everybody, you know, who could be there was going to be there, and everybody who couldn't be there was going to be glued to their box watching this. And it was just one of those moments that I don't think any United fan will forget. It was brilliant.
I think when he came out, because what they didn't do an unveiling. He actually came out with the team.
Yeah, we got that wrong, didn't we? I thought they'd unveil but they didn't.
No, I think that was the right thing to do.
Yeah,
and then at the ground, the noise just went off the Richter scale, didn't it, guys? I mean, I've never known noise like it, and I couldn't believe the noise. And it was funny because we were all kind of trying to guess a formation last week, weren't we, of how they were going to play. And United obviously started with a 4-2-3-1 formation, obviously with the same back four, which we all agreed upon would happen. Pogba and Matic in the middle, and then obviously.
So who said that?
Huh?
Who suggested Matic play in the middle? Was it not me and our friend Stuart?
Nigel, let's have it right. Stuart Norwood did, and you plagiarized. You plagiarized his lineup. But anyway, Nigel, as we're a part of the same team, I'm sure you can have that. Did you think the team looked balanced?
I think it looked balanced-ish. I still think there's the issue of the CDM really, and we need one with more legs, better passing and such like that. But because we know Pogba is not a defensive type of player, so he can drift out and his defensive ability is not the best. So I think that was the only thing that is missing from that team right now, or else that is a perfect starting lineup for us.
It is. Errol, what did you think of the starting lineup?
To be honest, I looked more at Newcastle, and I was, especially the second half when it switched on and we're attacking the Old Stretford end, and you could just see the two banks of Newcastle, and you're thinking, is this sort of one of them days they're going to spoil the party? It had been spoke about last week's podcast, and you could just see, and it was exactly how they scored. They were just waiting for that break coming with Maxim and Almiron. Two decent plays, tricky, pretty quick. You know, they left Matic, Maguire jumps in, everybody then becomes out of position. The ball switches over, bang, they score a goal, and you're thinking, you could see it coming because they'd done 2 or 3 breaks before that, hadn't in the first half. But the good thing I liked about it was like the old United. It's like, right, it woke them up. And then all of a sudden, United just went on and just sort of battered them in, because the first half wasn't a great half, was it, really? It wasn't the best half.
The thing was they basically stayed in, didn't they? They stayed deep and was looking for like Almiron and, you know, Sam Maximan to break a pace, weren't they? I think what was interesting, I don't know if you noticed, Anif, how far up the field United centre halves were in the first half. They were literally encamped. Varane and Maguire were basically playing as midfielders, weren't they? I don't know if you noticed that, Anif.
Well, I saw Maguire kind of pushing through, you know what I mean, quite a few times in the game, trying to thingy, but you know, it kind of, I thought there was a bit disjointed, you know, there was stuff like, well, they're just bypassing the midfielder for a bit, trying to go through, and it was like, what's going on here, you know what I mean? So it was a kind of still a disjointed game. I was getting frustrated, to be honest. You know what I mean? I was thinking all this talent and it still ain't joining up. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's quite interesting, isn't it, Nigel? Because one thing that I did think was actually quite good, before we get to Ronaldo's goal and how he took it, was I thought Sancho had a decent game. I thought he was stretching it. Him and Shaw on the left were, you know, stretching their defence, and were pulling their midfield out and getting in behind them. It's quite interesting, wasn't it, Nigel? Because obviously they were kind of, you know, doubts about Sancho. Or,
that's on my list. I thought he played brilliantly. I think we said on the last pod that it's probably going to be Christmas when he really comes into his own, when the transition to the Premier League sort of pace. And I thought you just saw some of those touches, some of his ideas. He looks after the ball. He's super quick, and you can tell by Christmas time he's going to be amazing. I was so happy with him, and I can't understand some of the criticisms that come to him already. I mean, the guy's only just got here. I know already people are beginning to question whether he's the real deal or not. He is the real deal. What he's selling, I'm buying.
Well, that's good, Nigel. That's good, and I'm glad that you are. You know what I mean? And it was funny, really, because when the goal came, obviously, in it was like the 47th minute, wasn't it? You know, it was actually 2 minutes of extra time. 2 minutes of extra time on the first half, and it was kind of ironic because it was a keeper that was taking an age to take goal kicks that forced that sort of extra time, who ended up getting booked halfway through the first half, which
frustrating.
It was so frustrating.
It was. I was on the edge. I was like, I know there was the criticism that they build up to the game, is that United don't cross the ball in enough, and how is Ronaldo going to score? And that was genuinely a concern for me, because I know for a fact Greenwood is not crossing the ball. He's getting in there. He's going to have a shot. That's his game, and he scores goals from it. But when the keeper parried it, I jumped up and just shouted, "Ronaldo!" and he tapped it in, and I was everybody was hugging each other and is jumping up and down. It was like we just won the league. It literally just felt like it was the perfect moment just for him just to get all the nerves out and just say, yes, he's back.
Yeah.
And it's funny, isn't it? Because we're not kind of like betting guys, yeah. Well, I don't know if we are or not. But on Saturday morning, bookies had the shortest odds ever for a man to score Ronaldo and any guy to score a hat-trick ever in football and Premier League history. It was almost 2-1 for him to get a hat-trick.
Wow.
Errol, you were there as well as I was. What was it like in your section? Because I mean, your section. I mean, I was in the northeast quadrant, so it's pretty lively there. What was it like in your section?
It was just like the old days of the Stretford End. It was just so raucous. It was just absolutely brilliant. I mean, we've all been to Old Trafford when it's just been sub-zero for like no noise levels at all. But that quadrant on the tunnel is unbelievable. And like I said, the songs that they were giving him, the love and respect. And I think we'd all kind of settled for a 0-0 at half time. And you're thinking, okay, well, you know what, it's going to get a better second half. But as soon as that ball went in, the whole ground erupted, and you're thinking, he's home now. You know, you can just see what his game is. He's just an elite predator. And if you'd have had a Martial or a Rashford in the box, you're thinking, you don't make that run. They just don't anticipate that something could happen. He's just on the peripheral waiting, and you can see it all the time. And he was just unbelievable. When it went in, it was like, wow, just listen to the noise.
It's funny, isn't it? Because, I mean, it's like, Anif, I mean, you must have been going crazy watching the game when that ball went in, because I mean, it didn't look like there was going to be a goal from that attack, did it?
Well, I was going crazy because it is like, at last, someone who knows where the 6-yard box is. You know what I mean? And stuff. And it's going to change the emphasis, because will Greenwood go around the outside now and put them in, as opposed to just cutting? Because when you look at United, they're all stood at the edge of the box waiting for a cutback. You know what I mean? I think, go in the box, because if it comes off someone, a tap in. You know what I mean? And stuff. So, I'm hoping Sancho's going to be skinning people. You know what I mean? So it'll bring a different emphasis. And then you still got Pogba, sliding them into Bruno. You know what I mean? So it brings another dynamic, to the game, because we've all been slide balls. Let's be honest. We've been nothing coming from the wings, truthfully, to feed off. So.
At the international level, Bruno and Ronaldo haven't really clicked. So people were also saying, are they going to click for United? Because they're not really clicking at international level. And so it was great to see those balls that Bruno was pinging over. They already seem to have a telepathy. So that's something that I know they're going to develop and work on. But I mean, just to echo what Annie said, it's a simple goal, but it takes years of experience and know how to understand and anticipate and know exactly where to be. Cavani is exactly the same. He just knows exactly where to be. You can't seem to teach that. That's why the likes of Rashford and Marshall still don't get it even now. But these guys know there's an art to being in the right place at the right time, and these guys just demonstrated that. That's why that first goal, even though it's a simple tapping, it's still a mesmerizing goal.
It was.
Yeah. But it's funny, wasn't it? Because I mean, I think what Match of the Day did later that night was they analysed his running, didn't they? And he probably 9 times out of 10 did that same run, on Saturday, but we hadn't clocked it because he wasn't, the ball hadn't ricocheted off the keeper and he wasn't there. And it's funny because, I mean, there was an attack just before that where, he ran, and obviously his run diverted the 2 defenders, which gave Sancho the space on the edge of the box. And, you look at, unfortunately, Martial's running, he doesn't do it. He's not taking players away to allow, he wants the ball at his feet. And it's not a criticism, that's just his game. And it was funny because what I noticed on Saturday, and this is before we go on to like his second goal, was that the amount of the times 2 centre-halves, or the right back and left back and the centre-half, were moving with him. So he's constantly creating that space for the others to run into. So he gets that goal. Now, where I was on the in the northeast quadrant, a load of guys had gone down for a halftime drink because they just didn't think it was going to happen. That goal went in, and there must have been about 100 people that rushed back up. You could actually feel the ground bouncing, not just because I was there. I'm a big lad, but the actual vibration of the energy, and you could actually feel it, couldn't you, Tyrell? Afterwards,
it was amazing. And like the new singing section above the tunnel, gotta say that's a brilliant addition, because where I sit in the north stand lower, not really a singing part, but the energy in that stadium, we were always up and down. Normally we sat down and we're having a nice time, enjoying. I paid for my seat, so I'm sitting in it. But the energy that was coming through, and it just reverberating around the stadium. I was always up. I had a sore throat on Sunday because I was singing Viva Ronaldo for a good few hours.
Exactly. And it's funny, isn't it? Because I mean, obviously Errol talked through their equaliser before, which was a bit of a blot on the landscape, wasn't it? Because it was, both fullbacks were caught upfield, weren't they? And they just broke quickly, didn't they? Maguire jumped in, and we were just left exposed, weren't we, on the left-hand side? And, it was actually, in fairness to the lad, Manquillo, it was a good finish, wasn't it? He took his goal well, to be fair.
It was a good finish. I mean, if I can jump in there, obviously, I blame Maguire for that goal, by the way, because I thought him doing that just gave them the momentum, and obviously we were man down. And I mean, I mean, Varane is brilliant. He's just like Rio Ferdinand. He's literally the Rolls Royce that was Rio Ferdinand. And even when the ball came across him, I thought, could he have stuck his leg out and intercepted? But you could see that he was trying to manage and contain, because you could see what was happening, and you could see him obviously trying to work to remedy the situation that he was put in by Maguire. And of course, this happens in football, and you know they scored the equaliser. But just, I mean, I love it. I'm so happy that we've got Varane, and it won't be long before he is truly marshalling that defence.
I think you're right there, Nigel, because where I actually was in the northeast quadrant, you're actually behind. I'm usually just above Tyrell, where Tyrell is. So, but I'm high, so I see basically all the formations, all the off the ball running. But because I was high and slightly behind the goal, it gave me a real good sort of reading of Varane's game and how polished he is and how he's reading of the game. And even though he's fast, he's not relying on his pace to get him out of trouble. He's like 2 steps ahead of what's happening and anticipating it. And I think, you know, there was a lot of like, a lot of rumors, and people were saying, well, will he get used to the pace of our game? He's played against Wolves and he's played against Newcastle. They're the type of games that will embed you into our game, because they're honest players, good, honest, professional players. You know, Newcastle, they've not got the quality that they used to have, but they're going to give you a game, aren't they, for 60, 70 minutes. The second goal and Cristiano's goal. And, you know, from start to finish, it was like the good old days, wasn't it?
Well, the through from Shaw, you know what I mean? I thought what was really weird was, and it was really slow, I thought, the ball's coming to Ronaldo, get over more, the guy's going to get it, the guy's going to get him, and he kind of think, why hasn't he touched it? As Ronaldo got a force field around it, and it just, it just dropped on his foot. And then, I saw the shot from, with the thing from the back, right through his legs beautifully, you know what I mean? And it was like, wow, you haven't seen one of them in ages, you know what I mean? And I don't know. It's just great. There's just different dimensions he brings to the game. That positive on the 6-yard box. That that person who truthfully can do what we hoped Martial would have done. Run with it and bang it in. You know what I mean? And I think we're gonna get that from him. You know what I mean? So I'm looking forward to happy day. Just saying with the Varane thing, going back to the Varane point, I was a bit upset because I think if he'd have stood his ground and hadn't have gone in, my guy wouldn't have forced the guy to do the pass, you know what I mean, and stuff.
Yeah.
I think there was a bit where if Varane had just held his ground a bit longer, gone a bit close, but not gone for the tackle, you know what I mean. But it definitely was Maguire's, a lot on that. Yeah.
This is it. I mean, he's 36 years old and he's running like he's 26 years old. Can you imagine that defender going back in and having to look at all his teammates and say, how do you get outrun by a 36-year-old? But this is just what we've got. We've got Ronaldo. And I love the fact that Shawberto Carlos, I tell you, that guy is amazing. I'm loving him this season. Just thread that ball perfectly. Like the way Ronaldo takes the ball. And when's the last time you see one of our strikers get the ball and you already know it's a goal? So as soon as he collects that ball, I'm like, yes, that's a goal. And the Van Nistelrooy gave you that feeling. Whenever he got the ball, you thought it's a goal. And like for the first time in the longest time, he collects the ball. I'm thinking it's a goal. And sure enough, straight through the keeper's legs. And it's like, I think there was. Somebody said today, I got to nick it. Somebody said he's like Thanos. I don't know if you watched the Marvel films, but Thanos, it's inevitable. Everything he does is inevitable. It's like, oh mate, I'm so happy.
That second goal, Ronaldo's second goal to put us 2-1 up, in some ways, it was very similar to Greenwood's, wasn't it, on the opening day of the season, where there's a through ball put through on the left-hand side, inside, and he puts it away, doesn't he? I mean, from your point of view, did you think the goalkeeper should have had it? Because I know you play in net. Would you have been disappointed? Or was it just, he took it so early?
Yeah, it's one of them. It's always disappointing when you get it through your legs, because obviously outside it's a nutmeg, isn't it? But
yeah,
going back to Ronaldo there, it's a great burst through the middle from Luke Shaw. Just slots it's one of them slide through passes between the defenders. Ronaldo knows he's clever enough to get his body in front of the defender. He's still got that yard of pace just to get enough on it, and he just smashes it. And the keeper has no time to react. That's why it goes in the way it does. And also, when you're firing it in low towards the feet, it's very hard. I mean, I've said it before on it. David De Gea is an absolute master of saving with his feet, but not a lot of the keepers are as near as good as him. But it's the experience that he's brought. It's this finishing, like Nigel said there. I thought, yeah, he's scoring. I just thought it's a goal. You know, if that would have been a Rashford or a Martial, you're thinking 50-50. They're going to go for a clever finish. He just absolutely rips the back end of the ball, and the keeper just doesn't have time to react, and that's the difference. Sometimes you see the clock in your body shapes, and I know where you're going to go. But he just smashes it that hard, and it rips the net out, and next thing you run down the line, and it's
I think the funniest thing for me, and I'm sure Tyrell saw it as well, was the amount of middle-aged men running down Chester Road doing their Sue impressions. I mean, it was so funny. And I mean, I think that added to the occasion and the excitement that people, grown men, were like children. But I've got a quick question for you guys. Before we go on,
grown men, you better cut it out. If you're over 40, don't be doing it. It makes no sense.
Nigel,
it's embarrassing.
Nigel, we won't tell them about you running around the quadrant doing it and then taking your shirt off your head.
You're a grown man. Cut it out. Don't be doing that. Leave it to the kids.
But the question to you guys is, on Saturday, how many minutes did you think Ronaldo had possession of the ball for? So I'll start with you, Tyrell. In time, how much time did you think he had in possession of the ball?
I don't think he had that much. So I'm going to say about 10 minutes.
Okay, Nigel?
No, I'd say even less than that. I think his involvement in that game was, like you say, just you can count them on one hand. I'd say about 2 minutes active time on that ball.
And if
minute 30.
Oh, good. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Errol?
I'm going to go 1 minute 30.
Whoa.
Okay. Ooh. Higher, lower. 44 seconds.
Whoa.
44 seconds was the total amount of time that he had the ball in the ball. Yeah. Jeez. So it just showed you how much he's evolved his game in that. So we go 2-1 up, and we go 2-1 up, and I've got to say, Pogba was just majestic from this point, wasn't he, guys? I mean, he was running the game, wasn't he? And I mean, when I say like running the game, it was like this elegant footballer that we know is there, don't we? You know, the confidence was out, his range of passing. You know, he wasn't dawdling on the ball like he was a bit too much in the first half. I mean,
just shout out though. I mean, he's obviously having an impact on De Gea. Did you see De Gea's pass for the third goal? Yeah, that was very Pogba-esque.
And it was. I mean, it's funny, isn't it? Because Errol, I'm going to take you obviously to the third goal, which is probably the best of the bunch in it. Fernandez's goal.
Yeah, I mean, I could hear him actually. You could hear him, the thump of the ball. And again, I mean, you look where the keeper is, he's fairly close to the line, and he's just flapping it air. And it was like, oh my God, Ronaldo's just hit 2, but I tell you what, Bruno's just turned up here now. I mean, it was but we know he's got that in his locker. It's an unbelievable strike. Brilliant. The build up again, because I mean, it's a great passing from Pogba. Them two seem to have like really good sort of telepathy now, don't they? They kind of sort of find each other a lot in the last third. And
well, he's hit another record, hasn't he? Pogba's hit another record because it's 7 assists in 4 games, which nobody's like hit at all. And it's funny because he gets the assist for Lingard's goal, doesn't he? Because Martial doesn't touch it. So I mean, what did you think, Tyrell, when you were at the game seeing that goal?
I thought, well, Bruno's not being upstaged here, is it? Like, remember, I'm still here. That's what that goal was. But no, I thought the whole team, they just once that second goal went in, and it, like I said, it could smell blood. I just thought the whole team just sort of gelled, and then they were moving together. Everyone was going fluid, and I was just like,
Yeah,
this is what I've been missing. This is what I've been missing.
I think you're totally right. That fluidity, because everybody, that confidence, you could see, you could feel, you could feel that confidence. Not just see it, but you could feel it. I mean, like Nigel, on Knutsford Avenue when we were kids and we bought 99p balls. We got the ball to move in the air like that, but that was because there was no air in it, wasn't it, Nigel? I mean,
it's because they were wafer thin balls, weren't they? Hey mate, I had the touch from them. The ball would move exactly where I wanted it to go. But I think it's a great
through somebody's window.
So before the game, and this is a surprise to me, obviously the chef cooked some dinner for them, and apparently the chef also cooked some pudding as well. So on the menu was apple crumble and custard.
correct.
And of course, Ronaldo sat down and he's obviously eating, immaculate. So everyone's watching what he's eating. So it's like 2 eggs, some salad, some canine, some this and that, water, and then so normally everyone's having apple pie and custard, or everyone's apple crumble and custard. The storage place, nobody touched it. And I thought
That's right.
That's what we wanted. If he improves everybody by 5% just by being there, that's enough, I think, to be in the conversation about winning the league. And already mentality is changing. And already everyone, like you said, once the second goal went in, everybody relaxed. Everyone's levels just go up. And you got, it did the talk, it did the team talk the day before. And it's everything we hoped that would happen that's now happening.
No,
and obviously,
do you know why he did the team talk night?
Oh yeah, we know why, because obviously normally you do a song when you're a newcomer to the club, but he's already done the song. But instead, he decided to have a team talk and just tell them, look, we don't know what he said, but obviously he's had a chat with them. But we obviously, from what we hear, he's not come here just for a paycheck. He wants to win things. And, and that team is capable of winning things. He's already said it.
I think he's going to take a lot of pressure off the front. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we'll see better even from Bruno and Pogba. I think also, more importantly, Varane at the back. You know what I mean? I think it will be interesting, to see the whole kind of the dynamics of the team change as they become more settled and used to one another. You know what I mean? And I think possibly two of the best signings we've done in years.
This is the strongest squad that we've actually had. You look at Van Gaal's was just a mixed match of everything. I don't think he was quite sure, what his squad was, or, he just wanted players to fill gaps. Moyes, well, it was just a nightmare start for him from start to finish. He had an aging team. He needs to bring the squad down. Mourinho just got negative. Ollie now, has he got to deliver? Has he got to deliver? And if he doesn't, what's the outcome? So I'll go with you, Errol.
I think yes. I think we said from last season. I mean, we had a very good opportunity to win the Europa League. Stinker of a game. It's gone now, but it still hurts that you should have won that game, or you should have won that trophy. But I think this season you're looking now, and you're thinking to yourself, apart from the CDM, maybe we can get away with it a bit in certain games, but he's got to win something now. The pressure is on for him to deliver. All the pundits are saying it, and they will say that because that's what they pay to say. But from my point of view, it doesn't matter what trophy it is, because obviously the higher level of trophy, the better. But a lot of managers start with the League Cup. They get the League Cup, and then you can usually progress onwards. But he's got to win something with this team. He's got one of the biggest squads of any United era of first team footballers. And we're not counting on the umpsters like Ilanga and Shoratore. he's got about 30 first-team players, seniors. If you can't win something with that, there's something wrong now. And the only one that'll get him sacked is himself. So for me, it's a must. We've got to win a trophy. Whichever one it is, we've got to win one.
Tyrell?
Yeah, I completely agree. I don't care what it is. It could be the Mickey Mouse Cup or whatever, but he has to win something, or else he will get the sack, and that's just the basis of it. There's too much firepower up front. We've got so many defenders. Like I said, there's only the CDM that's missing. But everywhere in every position, we've got at least 2, maybe 3 players that are first-team players at probably about 7 or 8, 9 of the other Premier League teams. So if he doesn't pull something out of the bag this year, then I feel like I'll be sorry for him, but that would be it for him.
I totally agree. We had the conversation, didn't we, a few weeks ago about the fact that, I mean, the team he's got is likable. Yeah. He's got the players that these are his players. And I think he absolutely has to now win something. And the thing is, he can win something because, all these players are winners. You've got Varane, he's a winner, he's a habitual winner. Ronaldo is a habitual winner. So there's absolutely no excuse. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but I took great interest in watching the top 6, in terms of how they all did. And everyone's banging on about Chelsea. Now, I watched that game and I thought Aston Villa had them battered. Aston Villa were battering, and if they were clinical, they would have won that game easily. I think all this talk about Chelsea, and Aston Villa battered them. But I tell you what, when I watched Leicester, I was like, Leicester are no mugs. They're a great team. Brendan Rodgers is doing a great. So I was sat there thinking, oh dear, Leicester look like a great team. City, again, just look amazing. You know what I mean? I hate to say it, but they look amazing. Yeah, it's a really interesting year, and I do think we've got the cake. But what we've got is Ronaldo. We've got Ronaldo and Varane. I think if we don't use them to win something this year, then obviously it all comes back on Oli.
I still haven't forgiven for us managing us out of the European Cup. Then into to me that's still memorable. We shouldn't have been lost that. And
6 points from the first 2 games.
We battered PSG and such, and then I don't know what he was doing. Billy Big Balls management, anyway, and I hope that doesn't come back. You know what I mean? And there's things I'm longing to see. I'd long to see Varane play with Bailly. You know what I mean? For the speed at the back. Will Bailly? You know what I mean? A couple of games like that possibly. You know what I mean? Also, would he dare put on Ronaldo and Cavani together? Can you imagine the hunger pack in them two? They're animals. You know what I mean? They're absolute animals. So that there's so many potential situations that are really exciting. But coming to finish with Ollie, I'm going to be cold on it. If we don't win now, it's gone. You know what I mean? And I'll be cold on it. I would be already on my eye. Who can we look at? I'm sorry. If I've got a future with all these players, I don't want to lose them.
Before this podcast goes out, United will play Young Boys Bern in the first game of the Champions League over in Switzerland tomorrow. Just quickly, guys, quick question. Prediction of score and will Ronaldo play? So I'll start with you, Errol.
I think he's got to. I think he's got to be professional. I'm going to go 3-0. We beat them 3-0 there last time. I'll go 3-0. Start with your strongest team, get the result, then you start changing your players. It's important that you get off to a good start here because you're going to play Atalanta and Villarreal next, and there'll be no mugs. We know Villarreal because we've played them numerous times and we struggle. Atalanta are a good team. They're in the Champions League nearly every season now. So you don't want to be going over there and having a blip and then you're facing 2 teams that are going to give you a tougher test. So just go over there, get the result. Then you can take players like Ronaldo off, give them a bit of a rest. Give some of the other lads a chance. But yeah, I'll go 3-0 and you start Ronaldo.
Okay. Nigel?
Yeah, I agree. Same score. I think it's too soon for us to be complacent. I think obviously there's a massive, boost to the team with everything that's going on. I think our players, some of them characters, are prone to being complacent, but I think it's too soon. So I expect us to turn up, show up, beat them 3-0, get the job done, and yeah, so 3-0. I'd agree with Errol.
I'm gonna go. I think the hunger from Saturday's gonna carry. I'm gonna go 5-1.
Okay, 5-1.
I think they're gonna want to send a message to Europe. I think Ronaldo on that plane will be absolutely in everyone's ear. We're pulling them AirPods out and say, "You better bang it to me, bang." You know what I mean? Trust me, no one's gonna. You know what I mean? So I think I think it's gonna be it could be more than that. I'm gonna go 5-1 and up.
I'm gonna go at 4-0. 4-0 Ronaldo hat trick.
Boy.
Hat trick.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
interesting.
I reckon
No, it's
Ronaldo
true.
getting
Do you remember?
a hat
Do you remember?
trick,
It's a
early
great,
hat trick.
great point because I told you Ronaldo's only competition is Messi. So Ronaldo
That's what
will
he
not be
wants to do.
outdone by Messi. So you're probably right.
Well, the good thing, Nigel, the good thing for you is Fred's probably playing back tomorrow, so
There
you'll
we
be
go.
happy.
It's just win, you know.
Let me change that to
Wow.
4-2.
I think one of the biggest signs for me is that Sancho will start because he went off with about 15 minutes to go on Saturday. So that gave me the feeling. And I'm wondering now with Tellez back, Tellez is back in and fit if he'll start tomorrow. So it'll be interesting. But I'll go for a conservative 2-0 win just because you guys have gone so high. Do you know what I mean? So, Nigel, that wraps up another Red Shirt podcast until next week. But before we go, we'd like to say a big thank you again for all the guys that spent the time to send in comments, didn't they, Nigel?
Yeah, we're getting more and more. It's fantastic. Every time you send something in, we read it and we reply. So keep on sending those comments. Let us know how we're doing. Let us know what you want to hear. Your feedback is brilliant. So thank you.
And guys, don't worry. We've got big shoulders. If you don't like the T-shirts and shirts that Nigel wear, just put a comment down.
Just before we go, Vern, a couple of quick shout-outs. I bumped into Mr. Errol Williams, and I said I'd give his lad, Rashawn Williams, a shout-out. Former United player, went to Shrewsbury, he's now residing at Doncaster, so we wish him all the best.
Yeah.
And a good shout-out to a young man called Ethan Furness, who's a new subscriber, so we thank him for supporting the podcast as well.
Yeah, thank you, Ethan Furness. Everybody that subscribes, we're more than happy. Do you know what I mean? And you guys make it worthwhile, actually, you guys subscribing. And the guys that view. So all those guys that view, please subscribe. Please subscribe. You outweigh so many more of the subscribers, so please subscribe. Errol, can you do us that swoo? Just for Nigel.
The Red Shirt Podcast, by Reds, for Reds. Don't forget to like, follow and subscribe to the Red Shirt Podcast.